Welcome to Behind the Veil. Now, here is your transformational coach, Tammy Hall.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your biggest pain points right now. But before you do, I will say this. My one goal that I have for this podcast is really to get you the biggest transformation, the most growth possible for you in this short amount of time.
Okay.
And if I could give you one thing on this call that would make the biggest impact for you in your life right now, what would that one thing be?
I guess to really find healing in a lot of the pain I've been through or that I've dealt with, throughout my marriage, and how to forgive myself for some of the stuff I've done or is my biggest thing.
Forgiving yourself has been hard.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel like you hold the most contempt for yourself about?
I guess it's whenever I felt, I guess it's whenever I felt alone and I had cheated on him, looked for somebody else for that comfort at that time. Is my biggest problem is that I have.
So you find it hard to forgive yourself for cheating on him.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What were the biggest issues you had in your childhood?
So, I am the baby girl of 6 girls, and I have a little brother, so 7 kids altogether. And I guess it was with me growing up. I had a sister that passed away when she was 10. She was hit by a car, and so I had to deal with having parents that had lost, sibling, and my older sisters who had dealt with it, which I wasn't born yet. And then not too long after she had died, my oldest sister below her, she was hit by a car when she was 10 too.
What? I'm sorry, you're
she was
talking
hit by-
so fast,
I'm
darling.
sorry. She was hit by a car when she was 10 too, as well.
So you had
My other,
two
yes.
sisters that were killed in.
No, one that was injured real bad. The first one died.
Okay.
So, dealing with that growing up, it was real hard. So my mom and dad, they didn't have a real good marriage, toward the end, right there at the very end, which we all had the same dad. So just watching them two and how they were and how they suffered throughout the years, even after, years after, it was hard, So my aunt basically raised us, took care of us while they worked and I guess try to cope with it, with, life after that. But my childhood, do
Yeah,
I?
go ahead.
No, but I had a lot of ups and downs with it. You would say that my childhood was like a lifetime story, but I learned from my lessons, like I learned from my parents throughout the times that the stuff we've been through. I learned how to be a better person through it and how not to let the bad stuff bring us down or making me who I am, in the long run, even though I was so young. So.
Well, I was reading through the notes that you had sent over, and you had struggled with drugs.
Yes, ma'am. It was after me and my husband had got married.
Yeah.
Which I've been with him since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom did not like him at all. She had him put in jail twice, had a restraining order on him. She did not like him at all at first. So we had a rocky start to start off with. And he comes from a well-known family. And I guess when my family moved back home, because we're from up north, from Pennsylvania, and I live down south in Louisiana. And I guess trying to fit up to their expectations and be someone that I'm really not, I guess I lost myself and I had turned to drugs, to help me cope and, deal with everyday life with them, that was real hard too.
Mm-hmm.
So that was real tough. And, which my husband, he had a problem too. So it was, trying to get through it. That was really tough, for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And being so young. So, because we got married when I was 19. And it wasn't too shortly after that, everything started happening. And that takes a big toll on a marriage, a real big toll on marriage.
Yeah,
using drugs. So
and you said you had some rocky years there with your husband,
yes,
and now it's very different.
yes, ma'am. Yes. We've had some really tough times where, I know where he's cheated on me, and having to deal with knowing that by yourself, because I have no family here. Um, that was real hard, having to come to understandings with it, and knowing that it was going on, even though he was still there and he said he still loved me and he wanted to be with me, but I knew what was going on. It was just hard dealing with it by myself, basically. Have nobody else to turn to, and we had a kid by then. I had my oldest son when I was 20, so having to raise a kid, on my own with having the problems we had, it was real tough. It was really tough,
I bet.
but yes, and I mean, when we had our fights, we had some good fights, throughout the time too, you know. And I'm not a fighter. I'm hardly a fighter, but I had to, being the meanest I had to be really mean at times, and I did not like that at all. I did not like being that person, not at
Mhm.
all. So
Yeah, so you had infidelity, drugs on top of being super young. That's a lot to throw in a
yeah,
marriage. Very
it was,
young marriage.
yes, ma'am. It
Yeah.
really, it really was. And all my sisters, they're not married. They have kids by different dads, and they're not still married to the same guy. They've been married once or twice, and so there's never been like a real successful marriage throughout, within my family. And so that was my number one goal. Whenever I married him, I promised that I would never get divorced. That was one thing that I was never going to do. And he said the same thing. So we've committed to our promise.
Mm,
And made it through it. And here we are going on 22 years on December the 16th. And we've been together, married for 22, but together for 24. And
hmm.
I mean, we're stronger than ever at this moment. But it's like I said, it's been tough. It's been real tough.
Yeah. It's interesting when we make those decisions that no matter what, I'm going to stay with this person. I will say that hasn't worked well for a lot of people that I know. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound, I mean, I love that you're here at this place now and things have gotten better, but um, it's not a real fun journey to go on. Like, hey,
No, ma'am.
let's just stick this thing out no matter how toxic it is, no matter how awful it is, we'll just stay together.
Right.
So yeah,
And
I want to dig into that a little bit.
see,
Um, yeah, go ahead.
my big thing is whenever we have problems, I don't like telling my family. Like I said, my mom didn't like him to start off with, and it was once we got married, she finally accepted him and realized that I was gonna be with him no matter what. So when I had problems, I didn't go to my family, tell my family, because once things are better, they still have that grudge against them, and they look at them in a different light. So I really didn't go to anybody. I kind of kept it in, and hoped I got dealt with it, and hope I got through it just fine. And I always had a smile on my face through all of it, no matter what. So
Is that a good thing?
it can be and it can't be sometimes, I think.
Well,
You know.
see what I see in you, which is pretty normal. We all have the ways that we deal with our pain, right?
Hmm.
And I was like that too. For a long time, I denied it. I tucked it down, held it way deep down, put a smile on my face, and waved. But guess what? That does not serve you because
Hmm.
that pain is sitting inside. And what it's doing to your soul is your soul is having to live in an inauthentic experience. So, my goal, because the pain, all it takes for you to clear out that pain is just to feel it all the way. So we're going to allow the little girl within you, because she's in there, we're going to allow her to feel her feelings. Can you give her permission to feel the pain today?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that as she feels it, it's being removed out of your system. You no longer have to carry it. I want you to think of yourself as a woman with a backpack on, a very heavy backpack. And in that backpack is all the weight of all the pain that she's carried for her entire lifetime. And that backpack keeps getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And one thing that I like to do on this call for you today is make that backpack a little bit lighter for you. Okay.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
want you to visualize that, because sometimes when I take people through these processes, I'll see them sort of not wanting to feel the pain, which, by the way, you are going to need Kleenex.
Right.
Do you
Okay.
have
Yes,
some
ma'am.
handy?
Yes, I can get some and grab some real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm done. I'm here.
Good. And I'm just warning you because, like I said, I see a lot of people fighting back the emotions. And I'm like, no, it's really good when we can let them out. Because when you feel your emotions, they move out of you. You're no longer holding on to it. So I want you to look at it like that when they come up. Like, I'm
Okay.
letting them come up. I'm going to feel them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I really want to tap into this shame piece. Okay. Because I see that shame all over you. You've been carrying a lot of shame for a really long time. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. I'm going to have you move into that shame feeling. Okay. I want you to picture what it feels like to not forgive yourself for these quote unquote mistakes that you feel like you've made. And I want you to let the words of these mistakes, you don't have to say them out loud, but let them pop up on the screen of your mind. All the words of all the unforgivenesses you have towards yourself. Let them pop up. And I want you to feel what it feels like to hold on to these feelings of shame, regret. Oh, I should have done this. I could have done that. I want you to let all that come to the forefront of your mind. And I want you to notice, become aware of, recognize that there is a certain place in your body where these emotions are stored. First impression, put your hand on this place. Do you have your hand on it? I can't see your hands.
What do you want to do?
Place your hand on the area in your body where these emotions stem from. First impression. That's right. First impression, what color are they?
Blue.
Blue. Now, recognize that from this blue area where all these emotions are stored in your chest, I want you to recognize that there is a projection shooting out from that blue out from your body. And as you allow that blue to get clearer and clearer, and as you feel into it, recognize, notice that there's an image attached to it. And this image is the very first time you felt these emotions. The very first time you felt these emotions. Allow that image to get clearer and clearer and clearer until you can recognize the memory or the picture. It could be real or imaginary. Just become aware of it. Let me know when that becomes clear enough to identify.
Yes, ma'am.
You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you alone or with someone else?
I'm alone.
Alone. Approximately how old are you? First impression.
I'm probably around, I'd say 15.
And what's happening for you in this image?
I'm feeling shame just for the stuff I've done.
And what have you done that's so shameful?
I guess it's whenever I left home and just left my family.
Is there anything else that you're feeling shameful about?
About some of the stuff I had done in high school or done in middle school.
What are these things that you did?
Stayed out, partied, done things that a normal 15-year-old shouldn't have done. Didn't
What?
listen to my parents.
And who told you that you should feel shame about not listening to your parents, staying out, partying? Who told you that you should feel shame about those things?
At that time of society, just people in general, the way they think of me, the way they look at me.
So none of that came from you.
Yeah, because I knew right from wrong, and I knew I wasn't doing what was right
According to who?
according to God and me, mostly God. I mean, that's not what He wants us to be like. He does not want us to be like that. He wants us to obey and honor and do right, and I was not doing that at that time.
So, did these beliefs come from you or did they come from something outside of you?
They come from me. I guess down deep inside, I knew what was right and wrong, and I didn't go with what was right. In my heart, I knew what was right, what God wanted me to do.
I want you to connect with your 15-year-old self. I want you to notice that there is a bubble of blue around her, this shame bubble. And I want you to go ahead and move into that bubble with her. I want you to feel the emotions for her, as her. And I want you to allow that shame, almost like a blanket, to be cloaked around you, knowing that it only takes 90 seconds for you to feel an emotion fully to be emoted. So I want you to feel it, allowing this feeling of right and wrong, this shame, this you didn't do what was right. I want you to feel that. I want you to take it on. I want you to look into your 15-year-old eyes. What is the look on her face?
Disappointed, scared,
What else?
shame,
What else?
anxious.
Anxious. What is she scared about?
I guess getting in trouble for everything she's done, the consequences from her actions,
What's she believing about herself right now?
that she could do anything she wants to,
What else is she believing about herself right now?
that she's strong, courageous,
What else is she believing about herself right now?
that she's fun and happy at times,
Hmm.
that she could conquer the world as long as she puts her mind to it,
What else? What does she need to hear from you right now in this moment?
that everything's going to be okay,
Mm-hmm.
that she is strong, that she is courageous, and the choices in life that she is making is only going to be choices, or is going to be make her who she's going to be in the future. She has to make mistakes in order to learn from them to make her the person she's going to be when she gets older.
Mm-hmm. What else?
That other people think, that it doesn't matter what they think as long as she's happy and she does things to keep her happy.
Mm-hmm.
Other people's opinions and views and ideas of what they want her to be like is not up to them. It's up to her.
Mm-hmm.
Is what she decides and her choices, and just to be smart about everything she does,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep going and conquer her dreams no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that she is loved and she is special
Mm-hmm.
through everything. Oh,
What color is that bubble now?
red.
It's red. And how does that red feel to you?
It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It feels happy, loved.
Mm-hmm. I want you to tell her that this red bubble is your gift to her and that you came all the way back from the future to be with her in this moment, to give her what she needed in this moment. And I want you to tell her that she could call on you anytime and that you'll answer and be there for her. Is there anything else I would like you to ask her? Is there anything else that she needs from you right now?
That she's gonna be okay. Gosh, she's gonna be okay, and she's gonna get through this, and that she's truly loved.
Beautiful. I'd like you to give her a hug goodbye.
And I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Are you there?
Yes, here. I'd like you to go ahead and give her a hug goodbye and let her know that you'll come back anytime she needs you. And come up with some sort of code. Some could be a word, could be a color, it could be a symbol that she can get your attention to let you know that she needs you. So come up with that symbol with her. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the symbol?
A heart.
A heart. Beautiful. And when she feels good to you, I'd like you to go ahead and pop up out of that room with your 15-year-old self. And I'd like you to go all the way back. You could keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
Go all the way back up 30 feet above that moment in time. And I want you to look down in your mind's eye and see you, your 15-year-old self, right there in that room. And then I want you to make your way back to the present moment. I want you to make your way back to the present. And as you do, I want you to look down in your mind's eye and notice all the old structures dissolving, crumbling away, falling apart. And I want you to notice in their place is beautiful, strong, loving structures coming to take the place of the old structures. And as you make your way back to the present, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 1 year from now, I want you to stop and pause on this present moment. And I want you to look down at you in that chair right here and now. And as you see you, I want you to make your way down through the top of your head, opening up like a moonroof, opening up like a moonroof to allow your spirit back in your body through the top of your head, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your hips, and your legs, fully integrating back together all the pieces of you, all the facets of you, recognizing that as it's reintegrating, all the new codes, processes from this beautiful moment in time are recalibrating each and every cell of your body. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling out, wiggling your fingers and toes, and batting your eyes open when you're ready. Did you have any new realizations for yourself going through that?
I did. I did. That I felt like a release, like a big weight lifted off my shoulders. Some comfort, a lot of comfort. Because lead up to whenever I turned 15, and I guess a lot of my not listening stuff resulted to whenever I was 10 years old, I was hit by a car too. So that was three of us.
Wow.
And not listening to I was on a moped and they told me not to get on it and I still did. So not listening to them once again, I guess, and dealing with the pain that my mom went through not only once but twice. And then I was the third one. And I guess that's what really led me up to, I guess being the way I was when I was 15 or throughout these years, you know, and just knowing that I hurt her that much and put her through that much, that really, it's actually my biggest breaking point. But I've, I guess, just buried it outside and had to deal with it. And that just let me, that's why I did things I did when I was a teenager, 15. And, I felt bad and I was just acting out basically. So,
Well, here's the thing. When a parent suppresses a child, there are certain processes we have to go through. We have to learn our own way. And when parents are restrictive, this is what happened in my house growing up too, came from a very strict religious household. The list was long. And what happens is you create rebellion within your kids because you don't give them the freedom to figure out who they are. We have to make mistakes. So I love that you said that to yourself, to your 15-year-old self, because she literally has to make those mistakes. We all do, because that's where we grow. That's where we learn. That's where we develop. So when the parents don't allow the child to be, to make the mistakes and to learn from them, then they kind of intervene with the growing up process, the becoming your own person process. So for you, what I see that you struggle with is being a more authentic version of yourself, because you're being pulled by your mom's beliefs. You're not choosing your beliefs for yourself.
right.
So you get to look at your life and say, listen, which is kind of what you did. That's why you chose a man that your mom didn't like, is because you were trying to make your way, trying to figure out who you were, right? And your
Yes, ma'am.
mom tried to hold you in really tight because she was so scared of losing another child. But what she did was created a sort of divide there, because you have a lot of people pleasing in you. You know that, right?
Right.
You have a lot of people pleasing in you. So because of that, you have this pull between
Mhm.
who you want to be, your more authentic self, and who your mom wants you to be. And so as you start to look at those things within yourself, you're really going to have a major growth. You get to ask yourself on a regular basis, is this my belief or is this someone else's?
Right.
Is this mine or is this someone else's? Is this mine or is this someone else's? Okay. And by doing this, by asking yourself this on a regular basis, you're going to get closer to your authentic self. And I will tell you, there is nothing more powerful and radical than living in the energy of authenticity, because you didn't come here to run your mom's program.
Right.
Or your husband's program or your kids' program. You came here for your own unique life purpose. And it's not going to feel good to you unless you're living that purpose.
Right.
Okay.
And I totally agree. And I think that, these last year or so, I've, I guess the people pleasing part of me kind of really don't care what they think no more. And like I said, we live in a small town, so everything I've done in the past, they hold that they hold that against you, for years to come. And that always bothered me because a lot of time, a lot of
Oh, I
things
think
do
you have your finger over the receiver, I think.
Oh, do you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
But a lot of people didn't know I did drugs, and and here they were, talking about me and spreading rumors around, and a lot of them didn't know what I was going through or what my challenges were, and I was so worried about what they thought about me. But whenever I overcame all that and come out of it, I've come to realize that I gotta be happy in order to make everybody else. I gotta be happy with myself in order to make everybody else happy. Like I have to please myself first, and that took a lot. That took a lot. And having three boys, that right there was a lesson. Raising them and having them, they taught me a lot in life, a lot. And especially these last few years, they've really taught me a lot. So as far as everybody else goes, I'm not so much worried about that as, I am about making myself happy right now. I'm getting too old to, worry about everybody else. I'm only getting
Well,
older, not
yeah,
younger. So
and you tapped on something. So shame comes from like secrets. So shame produces it's just all about hiding, right? But when you come out and say, yeah, I did do drugs. Yeah, I did do this. Yeah, I did do that. Yep, I sure did. The
right.
shame dissolves because the
Yes.
shame can only be hidden in the shadows. Once it's brought into the light, it completely dissolves the darkness, right? The
Yes.
darkness is totally absolved. So by you just coming out and saying, here is what it is. I'm not hiding anything. It's all out there on the table. Some of it was not so fun to live through. And yet I needed that. That was part of my soul's journey. So we don't need to view the failures. I say this because I don't believe in failures, but we don't need to view the failures as bad. So if you look at it and you just say, that taught me this. Look at the things that it taught you, because every single failure taught you a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Right.
So
Yes, ma'am.
when you get to look at what it taught you, you get to take the bad out of it and just say, no, I learned. Therefore, it was a really great opportunity for me.
Right. And that's what I
Right.
tell a lot of people. I mean, I regret it, but then I don't, because I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for them, for the moments, for the things I've done, or, the regrets and all that. I wouldn't be who I am today. And, with my boys, they have a lot of friends. And nowadays, these parents, they don't raise their kids. It's really a lot of grandparents raising these kids, especially in these small towns. So I have a lot of extra kids that come over here. And my lesson, from what I've been through, I could talk to them, because they're all teenagers. And I could talk to them and say, hey, look, this is not the best route, just from knowing and being around people, the bad, the good, the ugly throughout them times. It's something that you don't want to do. You want to finish school, you want to graduate, you want to do something with yourself and not, fall back into drugs or, be the old small town routine that usually happens, around here. And so a lot of the kids come and they look to me for guidance or, just for that, I guess that mom vibe I give. And they come to me whenever they have problems or whenever they're thinking they're going to do this or that. And, I tell them, hey, look, it's not the best thing. So that makes me feel good, though, that I'm able to guide them and tell them. Because I know when my mom, growing up, they talk about drugs and they didn't know. My mom didn't do them. So she's like, I don't know. And I guess I just was curious at times too, where I was like, I'm going to try this or, she don't know what's going to happen. But being what I've been through, I've been honest with my kids foremost, almost, all the way. And they know, what it could do to you. They know, how bad people get and they know the consequences from it. So I'm pretty sure, because of what I've been through, it's also a lesson learned with them. They've seen a lot and they've learned from it, and they don't want to be like a lot of these people out here. So in a sense, I wouldn't take any of it back for the fact that I wouldn't be here to help other people who are going through the same stuff or, guide them to do the right thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is drugs just comes from numbing pain, right? And there's
Yes.
all sorts of ways that people numb pain, some with food, some with work, some with people. Like
Shopping.
there's all different ways for you to numb your pain. What I see the issue is you got to deal with your pain. You
Yep.
got to let yourself feel the pain. You got to work through it. And then you will not need to find anything to numb it
Right.
because the pain is there. We all have pain. We go through this life, and I don't know anyone who hasn't experienced rough stuff that they've carried things from. So when we enter into our healing journey, we see that that pain was actually a gift to us. My pain was a gift to me, and I stay very close in contact with it because it allows me to have compassion for others, like you said. These
Right.
boys are coming to you, and they are confiding in you because you have compassion for them. You know what they're going through, and you're helping them. So I think that's very beautiful, and I'm so glad you're doing that. I was going to ask you if there is any, do you know anyone that would benefit from doing something like this,
Um,
a process like this?
I think I might know somebody that really would benefit from it.
Okay.
Um, my a good friend, my niece, she's been going through some stuff, and I think she has a lot of childhood trauma, and she's been through a lot, and I don't think she's really come to realization with it and accept herself for it. And she's married and has 4 kids, and she's fairly young. And I think something like this would absolutely help her. Absolutely.
Okay.
And her and her husband kind of like they're together but not together.
Uh-huh.
So this would be something that she would benefit from. I think 100%. 100%.
Would you want to connect us?
I could, yes, ma'am. I definitely could.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
And then also, if it might take you a few days to sort of unpack the process that we went through today, but over the next couple of days, if you have some like breakthroughs or I would love if you could share like a review that I could put
Okay.
up on my website. That would be amazing if you want to
Yes,
share
ma'am.
your breakthroughs.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
definitely will. I definitely will share that with you. But
Okay.
I appreciate you taking the time and talking to me and helping me get through this and face some
Right.
stuff that I needed to face.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for
You
being so
know.
brave. I really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. And I will keep in touch with you.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah.
have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.